Broadcasting live from Dar es Salaam, this is TBC News. Our top stories. Samia stresses unity as second African president is sworn in.
We must ensure that we stand together with a more determination, knowing that victory lies in the justness of our cause.
World marks a day against discrimination, where Tanzania stands. Thank you very much for joining us. My name is Nasa Kingu. Just a reminder, you can also follow us live via our YouTube channel, TBC Online, and also get all the latest. We start in the ceremony of the president-elect of Namibia. Nandi Ndaitwah was sworn in during her inaugural speech. Netumbo Nandi Ndaitwah took a stand to guide the nation forward, receiving a standing ovation for the women leaders. She acknowledged those who played a pivotal role in organizing the Women's Conference in Beijing, marking an error.
In one of his writings, that corruption must be treated as can be frustrated.
To safeguard unity and solidarity in deteriorating security conditions.
Excellencies and dear comrades, we lived and fought together, and we remain steadfast and change in geopolitical ideologies. We must ensure that we stand together with a more determination, knowing that victory lies in the justness of our cause. The challenges faced by our founding fathers are not the same to emancipate our people from the grip of abject poverty, hunger, and insecurity.
Prime Minister Kassim major products in the country instead of exporting them as raw materials. He insists Tanzania currently is well advanced into saying.
Taasisi za utafiti, hakikisheni mnaendelea kufanya utafiti ambazo zitoe majibu na changamoto zinazokabili sekta ya misitu.
Research institutions ensure that you continue conducting research and provide responses, continues to promote and create an enabling environment like this one at Tainwald and those in Mafinga.
On the other hand, the Minister of Natural Resources and Tourism, Ambassador Dr. Pindi Chana, says in order to promote forest products, production and management in the country, the ministry in collaboration with the stakeholders opted to work to mark the World Forest Day and National Tree Planting Day together.
La shughuli ya leo ni kuongeza hamasa na tija.
The aim of today's activities is to increase motivation and productivity. The Ministry of Natural Resources and Tourism, along with the stakeholders, found it appropriately to jointly commemorate the World Forest in Magu, Mwanza in 2022, the second in Same Kilimanjaro, and the third is happening today here in Njombe. It has become an opportunity to stimulate conversations and tree planting efforts among the entire population of Tanzanians. For instance, through the Tanzanian Forest Agents, since 2020, the agents have successfully planted approximately 146 million trees of various species, including 1.1 million mangroves. It has been produced and nurtured in various locations across the country.
This year, the theme is Forest Products, a Value Addition for Resource Sustainability for Present and Future Generations. On March 21st, 1960, the policed the apartheid system. 69 years on, the world today is marking the International Day for the Elimination of Racial Discrimination. It's a day to reaffirm strong commitment and combat racism and xenophobia in all their forms, such as treating people differently or less favorably than others, often based on characteristics like race, gender, religion, or disability, which can lead to unfair and unjust treatment. To discuss more about this day in the studio, we're joined live by Advocate Edwin Muga. Welcome to TBC News.
Thank you so much.
Now, let's start with why racial discrimination. It's 21st century. Why the discrimination is still a problem?
Racial discrimination has been a problem from time immemorable. We have referred to the incident in 1960 happening in many countries on racial grounds. We saw atrocities in South Africa. We saw atrocities in some developed countries like the States and Europe. But also we see racial discrimination happening in most of African states, although most of the time it is not widely reported, but it is happening. It's happening because of geopolitical factors, because of racial superiorities among some races, because of inadequate policies and laws to tackle those racial discrimination incidents. So there is a combination of multiple factors that lead to racial discrimination globally.
Being an advocate, we understand maybe there must be other people who are suffering from
that are taking place in different parts of the nation, which is widely spoken. Persons being discriminated against just because of their gender, fueled by many factors. Might be because of cultural factors, maybe because of the historical factors, and many other factors. So gender discrimination is one of the, you might be discriminated against because of your faith, because of your religion. A Muslim discriminating against a Christian is just something that is very common in most of the jurisdictions. Some time ago, many years back, it used also to, it happened even in our country, but later it was suppressed and we don't see it anymore. So a person might be, may be discriminated against because of the religion, because of the culture. Some people believe their cultures are more superior than others, or maybe some others may regard others' cultures as primitive and all that. So that might be the basis of discrimination. We see these discriminations also happening at the workplaces, conventions, including our country. Discrimination is now a criminal offense in most jurisdictions. If there is discrimination at the workplace, discrimination of whatever kind. For instance, if you look at the Employment and Labor Relations Act, Section 7 makes, be it on the basis of gender, be it on the basis of race, be it on the basis of color, belief, employment and labor settings. That's how serious discrimination is.
Taking it from there, so discrimination, it's an offense. If somebody is being discriminated based on anything, from religion, from color, or the person, the way he or she looks, can he or she take a legal action against the
Yes, such a person can take legal action because, first of all, from the Tanzanian perspective, discrimination is against the Constitution. Article 13 of the Constitution provides for the rights to equality and the right to protection against any form of discrimination. Against discrimination in access to opportunities, access to resources, access to services, etc. But again, we also see under other pieces of legislations, like the Employment and Labor Relations Act, discrimination being categorized as a criminal offense. So if it is an offense, and now here is a constitutional category, that means where there is infringement, there is always redress. And the redress may be in two ways. One may institute civil suit for redress. If you have discriminated against me and I have suffered some emotional distress and other unliquidated damages, I may institute a tort to recover some compensation from you for such discriminatory acts that you have done. Again, under the employment registrations, one may file a suit to the labor courts against the employer who has discriminated such a person on any of the aspects prescribed. If he is discriminated based on his color, or they are discriminated just because of their gender, because of their religion, because of their disability, and any factor whatsoever, one may file a case to the labor courts, and the employer may be held accountable. Yes.
So from your explanations, it looks like discrimination is even more serious than actually we think. Do you at any time picture that we could have the world that is free from discrimination?
It is possible to have a world free of discrimination, but I do not see that world coming anytime soon. And that's because of the global dynamics that I have just explained. I have talked about issues of racial superiorities. You know what happened in Germany, the Holocaust, during the Nazism. You remember the common Nazistic ideologies that led to the massacre and the killings. You saw what happened in South Africa, something that led to what the discussion that we are having today. A white person regarding themselves as superior. We also see this happening in the United States. In Europe, we see how black people are being discriminated, and you can wish to recall the previously famous movement of Black Lives Matter in the United States. Black Lives Matter emanated from the racial discrimination, where the whites are discriminating against blacks, killing them, the way you kill goats and chickens at home. Yeah, so until and unless the ideologies change, because racial discrimination is an ideological issue. Once ideologies change among all the people at the global scale, that's when we can contain these atrocities of racial discrimination. And short of that, for sure, we have a long way to go.
Change of ideology.
Change of ideology.
Okay, Advocate, I think we have to end it there. I know there are a lot to talk about on this particular day to eliminate racial discrimination, but also you have described the other forms of discriminations that are also existing globally. Thanks very much for being with us tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. In other news, the establishment of Mama Samia Legal Aid Foundation is said to have strengthened the foundations of the rule of law by enhancing access to justice for indigents through provision of legal and including legal counseling and education. Speaking to Tbc News, the Minister for Constitution and Legal Affairs, Dr. Damas Ndumbaro, insisted that within 4 years of President Samia Suluhu Hassan's leadership, Tanzania has made significant strides in the legal sector and human rights. Antonia Kivaria has more details.
To ensure that citizens have access to legal aid, President Samia has established the Mama Samia Legal Aid Foundation, an institution dedicated to providing legal assistance to needy individuals who are unable to represent themselves in court. The Minister for Constitutional Affairs and Justice, Dr. Damas Ndumbaro, says the institution represents one of the President's efforts to ensure justice accessible to all, regardless of economic status.
On reaching people, especially common people on legal fronts, she has orchestrated Mama Samia Legal Aid campaign, which has traversed now in 22 regions out of all the regions, and the program is going on.
Dr. Ndombaro elaborates on how the government under President Samia has promoted the rights of women and children across the nation, while also building bilateral relationship with other countries and maintaining peace and security.
Through enforcement and amendment of laws, she has created a conducive business and economic environment which attracts investors to come and invest in our country, and in so doing, prosper our economy and make Tanzania a better place to do business.
Furthermore, a representative from the Foundation of Civil Society explains further on how various laws have been amended and implemented in the country during her tenure.
The laws, especially on electoral laws, I mean the Political Affairs Act, also the law related to election. We have the Presidential, Parliamentary, and the Councillors Act. Also, Independent National Electoral Commission Act. All were enacted in 2024. Actually, these laws have come with some very promising provisions that can enable to improve our electoral justice.
From establishing legal aid for the vulnerable to strengthening political reconciliation and laying a groundwork for fair elections, it is clear that Tanzania is progressing towards being even a stronger democracy. Antonia Kivaria, TBC News.
This week, the world marked International Day of Happiness, which is a United Nations initiative to recognize the importance of happiness in people's lives. According to the study published by the University of Oxford Wellbeing Research Center, Finland has been ranked as the world's happiest country for the 8th successive year, with experts citing access to nature and strong welfare system as factors. I earlier spoke with inspirational writer, business consultant, and social analyst Constantine Magavela, and here he starts by explaining how he understands the term happiness.
My take, this is my personal take, is that happiness is really a state of mind. It's peace of mind. Peace of mind. And that is essentially the core purpose of our humanity, is to culture peace of mind. Now, what's the opposite of peace of mind? The opposite of peace of mind is worrying. Not having peace of mind means you're worrying about your environment and what would probably happen to you in your environment. So these measures that they look at are measures that affect your peace of mind. And human beings are inherently, I believe, are inherently prone to predictable norms, meaning they want to know what's next. So societies or countries that build systems that give people more control over that predictable space that we can't control really, are more likely to have people who are generally perceived to be happy.
So in short, either to be happy or to be unhappy on individual basis or at national level is about the people to be sure of their tomorrow.
Well, the more sure you are of your tomorrow, definitely. I mean,
the happier you are.
I mean, look at yourself. If you have assurance that you're going to get your salary tomorrow, even if it's delayed by 2 days or 3 days, you start to get frustrated. You start to get anxious. Why? Because you've made commitments. Because we are all interconnected. You know, we are social beings. So our interconnections either build us or break us. Okay? So when we make commitments, for example, to other people, we have to honor those commitments. That's why in some countries, when your check bounces, it's a criminal offense.
Let's explore the relationship between an individual or a nation to have people who are happy and economic development.
Yeah.
What's the relation there? Does it really matter for a nation to be happy and more likely to prosper economically? Or what's the relation there that you can take between happiness and economic development?
Yeah, that's a very good question, by the way, because what does it take to culture economic development? First and foremost, you have to have a populace that understands what development is. And that's why this understanding of what happiness is important, because many people associate happiness with what is visibly seen. So for example, they'll say someone is happy because they're posting pictures of them looking happy on social media, or someone's happy because they have a good job or they have a lot of money. But from a development point of view, happiness is just that, culturing peace of mind. And culturing peace of mind essentially is promoting hope. That means people will see themselves as vehicles for development. And so all they have to do now is have hope and then ultimately collaborate with government. Because remember, responsible citizenry means development is not necessarily something you leave to government. You are an active participant in that process. And our system has been built in such a way that people can participate from the grassroots upwards. You know?
You've spoken a little bit about the conditions that way, of course, we are living here in Tanzania.
Yeah.
And Tanzania is one of the nations that most of the people do describe Tanzanians as very happy people and kind as well. But when it comes to reports like this, it doesn't reflect what's missing.
Well, it's the measures. It's the measures that they use. You understand? So the informality of our economy makes it possible for people to be happy, but then the measures that they use will not register that.
Today, the world marks Down Syndrome Day. The day has been observed since 2012. Its purpose is to educate the world on the Down syndrome, what it is, and how individuals with Down syndrome need to be valued in their communities. Kanki Mwagomole has more details.
Down syndrome is a genetic condition that leads to developmental and intellectual delays. This year, the day is marked with the theme of strengthening inclusive support systems to secure individuals with Down syndrome receive care, education, and opportunities they deserve. Dr. Irene Abel, a pediatrician from Masana Medical Hospital, explains the causes of this condition.
Down syndrome is a genetic condition caused when an extra unusual cell division results to an extra or full partial copy of chromosome 21. This extra genetic material causes the developmental changes and physical features of Down syndrome. Problems with intellect and development are usually mild to moderate. Some people are healthy while others have serious health issues such as heart problems that are present at birth.
Dr. Irene further says, better understanding of Down syndrome and early interventions can greatly improve the quality of children's lives and adults with this condition and help them live fulfilling their lives.
Shida hii haina sababu ya moja kwa moja, lakini sababu
Down syndrome varies in severity among individuals. The condition causes lifelong intellectual disabilities and developmental delays. Its most common genetic chromosomal cause of intellectual disabilities in children. It also commonly causes other medical conditions, including heart and digestive system problems.
Dr. Irene Abel adds that children and adults with Down syndrome have distinct face and body features, though not all people with Down syndrome have the same features, urging the society that people with Down syndrome should not be discriminated against as they have rights like others. Kanki Mwagomole, TBC News.
Now, before we conclude the news bulletin for tonight, let's take a look at the weather forecast for the next 24 hours.
Hello there, this is 24 hours weather forecast from Tanzania Meteorological Authority. Starting from tonight, 9 p.m. The state of the lake and the state of the sea is expected to be slight. And now let us see of the weather details. And this is what we expect for tonight. For Rukwa region, western parts of the country and Lake Victoria Basin, we expect partly cloud condition, thunder showers over a few areas. For northeastern Highland and the entire coast, we expect partly cloud condition, rain showers over a few areas. And the remaining parts of the country is expected to be dry. And now let us see of what we expect for tomorrow. For central parts of the country, southwestern highland and southern region, we expect partly cloud condition, rain showers over a few areas, and sun periods. For western parts of the country, Lake Victoria Basin, northeastern highland, and the entire coast, we expect partly cloud condition, thunder showers over a few areas, and sun periods. And now let us take a look of the next 4 days weather forecast. For Dar es Salaam, we expect thunder showers and light rain. Dodoma, we expect light rain and thunder showers. Mbeya, we expect thunder showers. For Mwanza, we expect thunder showers. Kilimanjaro, we expect light rain and low rain showers. Morogoro, we expect thunder showers and light rain. Arusha, we expect light rain and rain showers. And that's all for today. Make sure to catch up again tomorrow. From Tanzania Meteorological Authority, my name is Mariam Faris. Bye-bye.
And that marks the end of the news bulletin for tonight. Don't miss our next bulletin in Kiswahili at 11 p.m. On behalf of the whole team, I am Nasa Kingo. We wish you a good night and a constructive weekend.